There are 7 small purchases you can make that will save you $5,189 a year. And I have the data to prove it. So we're breaking down each purchase, how much they'll save you, and why 7 purchases made this week can mathematically build a $500,000 net worth. So let's start with the one that surprised me the most. Most people assume that if you pay for a cheaper phone plan, you must be getting worse coverage or slower speeds. But that assumption is costing the average person $1,332 a year because it's built on something that just isn't true. There are wireless carriers in the United States running on the same exact towers as Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. That means the same exact coverage, speeds, and network for a fraction of the price. They're called MVNOs, and the reason they can charge so much less is simple. They don't own the towers. Instead, they rent the excess capacity from major carriers and pass those savings directly to you. So when you switch, you're not downgrading your service, you're just cutting out the middleman. And here's how to break down the savings. According to JD Power, the average American pays $141 a month for their phone plan, which adds up to $1,692 a year. An MVNO costs you $30 a month or $360 a year for that same access. That's a savings difference of $1,332 a year. Now, the next one is interesting because many people who have access to this are leaving hundreds of dollars on the table every year without realizing it. Everyone thinks of warehouse stores as places to buy things in bulk to get better deals. Well, they're not wrong, but they're also missing the bigger picture. Because the question isn't whether you save money buying things in bulk. It's how much you save and whether a membership fee is actually worth it. So let's do the math. According to a 2026 Consumer Reports study, there is one store where prices are 21.4% lower than Walmart across comparable items. And according to Numerator, which tracks actual consumer receipts, the average shopper there spends $3,180 a year in store. But when you apply that 21.4% discount to $3,180, you get $681 in savings just from switching where you shop. And that's not even including gas. This store's gas stations run about 21 cents cheaper per gallon than nearby stations. And since the average person drives 13,500 miles a year in a car that gets 25 miles per gallon, that means they're buying 540 gallons a year. That converts to $113 in savings at the pump. A membership card only costs $65 a year, so added up, that's $729 in annual savings. This card is the Costco card, but if you don't have one nearby, Sam's Club offers nearly identical savings for a membership fee of just $50 a year. But either way, a $65 decision that returns $729 a year is an 11-to-1 return on your money. Now this next one only takes about 20 minutes of your time and you can purchase it from your couch. Most people set up their car insurance once and then keep renewing it year after year without ever questioning whether they're paying a fair price. The thing is, insurance companies depend on your complacency. They know that once you're a customer, the path of least resistance is to stay as one, so they price the renewals accordingly. Guess what Consumer Reports found when they surveyed 40,000 policyholders about switching their car insurance provider? The median annual savings was $461. That's almost a third of the median annual premium in that survey. All you're doing is purchasing a new policy from a competitor, and statistically, that phone call is worth $461 a year. And if that sounds too good to be true, it's not, because I can personally attest to this. I switched my policy last year and ended up saving $1,200 a year while keeping the same exact coverage. Now this fourth purchase is probably the most straightforward one on the list, but the number it saves you is higher than you'd expect. According to Case Western Reserve University, the average American spends $5 a week on bottled water or $260 a year. And the most common reason people give for not switching to tap is that they don't trust the quality. That's a fair concern, which is exactly why this purchase is actually two things: a $19 reusable water bottle and a $27 Brita filter. The total investment here is $46, but the annual savings is $214. This next one is the smallest savings on the list, but it's also the simplest decision that most households never even think about. The average American household spends between $100 and $120 a year on disposable batteries. It's one of those recurring costs that are small enough to never feel like a problem, but consistent enough to add up to big money over time. A battery charger costs $12 on Amazon, and a 24-pack of rechargeable AA batteries costs $25. But what you might not know is that each battery can be recharged up to 1,000 times. So for a one-time investment of $37, you're essentially never buying batteries again. Year one, after subtracting the upfront cost, you'll net $63 in savings, but every year after that, you're saving the full $100. The sixth purchase is interesting because you can choose how much you pay for it. Every time you pay with a debit card, you're leaving money on the table. Not because of what you're buying, but because of what you're buying it with. According to CNBC, Cashback cardholders earned an average of $278 back last year on a free card. But if you want to earn even more, the American Express Blue Cash Preferred gives you 6% back at US supermarkets for a $95 annual fee. And for most households, that fee pays for itself in the first 2 months. Or if you'd rather pay nothing up front, the Chase Freedom Unlimited gives you 1.5% back on every purchase with no annual fees. But there's one caveat, and it's an important one. This only works if you pay off your balance in full every month, because if you carry a balance, the interest wipes out the rewards entirely. But if you consistently pay it off, $278 a year for doing nothing differently is about as close to free money as personal finance gets. And the last one is by far the largest savings on this list, and it's hiding in plain sight in every grocery store you've ever walked into. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American household spends $6,224 a year on groceries. And a significant portion of that is going directly towards something that has no impact on what's actually inside the product: the brand name on the label. Between brands, the formulas are often identical, the ingredients are often identical, but in blind taste tests, the store brand frequently wins. The only real difference is that national brands spend billions on advertising every year, and you're the one paying for it. And the Private Label Manufacturers Association, which tracks store brand versus national brand pricing, found that shoppers consistently save 1/3 or more on grocery and household items by choosing store brands over national brands. When you apply that 1/3 saving to $6,224 in groceries, you get $2,075 a year. Not from eating differently or buying less, just from choosing the brand that doesn't spend millions on advertising. I just started doing this recently, and I got this 500 count of Target ibuprofen for $9 when I could have bought the 300 count of Advil for $25. It's the same thing. So let's break down how these purchases can build a $500,000 net worth. Now we know these 7 purchases add up to $5,189 in savings every year. But here's where it gets interesting. If you put that money every year for 30 years into the S&P 500 that returns on average 7% annually, you'd end up with $490,000. That's almost $500,000 built without changing your income or your lifestyle. To put that into context, the median average net worth sits between $124,000 and $192,000. So investing these savings consistently over 30 years gets you more than double that. Now, we referenced the S&P 500 in this video, but if you want a full, in-depth analysis on the #1 way to invest, check out this video here. And if you want to learn more about money with real data and no bias, subscribe and smash that like button. Thank you, my friends, for watching, and I will see you next time.